agenda. He doesn't like the idea of a balanced budget or living within your means. So now he is moving forward with defunding the police while, again, trying to fund the wokeness parts of his agenda with tax increases.
Racial equity, 4.6 billion commission on racial equity, 835,000 commission on gender equity, 260,000 for Department of Education, Chief Diversity Officer, 301,000 for 3 FDNY civilian Chief Diversity Inclusion Officers. There's a title for you. And 118,000 for an FDNY Chief Diversity Inclusion Officer. Is this necessary stuff? You can't cut that back?
Yeah, and at least the thing to do when it comes to public safety, absolutely not. Public safety is not being listed. So we can't pay for everything. Everything can't be for free. But what you need is cops out in the street. Tell me how all these programs got help when you get robbed in the middle of the street.
Yeah, and you tell me, believe me, you'd have to find out, sadly. Run down these progressive agenda includes new budgets items like 750,000 for art and cultural fund, 800,000 for anti-ageism, 437 million for child care vouchers, LGBTQ emergency for 2 million. It goes on and on. And you pointed out his climate change budget. What's he spending on that?
Yeah, so this is the affordability agenda for Democrats, right? So that they run around moving lines crying about the votes, the problems that they caused through 4 years of Joe Biden when the country became so unaffordable, right? Yeah, their idea of solving the affordability crisis is more funding for DEI, defunding the police, increasing your taxes, and socialism for illegal immigrants and people who don't want to work, right? That's the only thing they have to offer, I'm telling you. You should believe them. Even the so-called moderates like Abigail Spanberg, out in Virginia, what is she doing, right? She's protecting illegal immigrants. She's trying to raise your taxes. Okay? This is what they're doing. They put a cop hater in charge of the Attorney General's office. Okay? When Democrats show you what they believe and what their policies are, and this is why it really blows my mind that so-called independents, again, allegedly, Democrats back in power, right? I don't understand for the life of why anybody for the midterm when it's 2028 would say, yeah, we want Democrats back in power, right? That this country would be in much better shape with Kamala Harris as president, really, right? Seriously, this is what people actually really believe. This is the narrative they're pushing, right? This is what they're pushing. But in fact, pay attention to what the Democrats did, right, over the last 4 years and what they're doing now. Nothing's changed. They have the exact same agenda that people voted against, right? So again, politics is very interesting, very, very interesting. And once again, as I'm saying, time again, whatever it takes Democrats actually being in power, and socially being in power, people realize how bad it actually is, and Republicans be out of power, right? Safety, right? Like they're absolutely out of power. Or understand, I feel like this was a bad right? It's just an unfortunate reality of how politics is. This story is what's coming right here about the black residents in Queens, very politically excited, who were upset. They're mad about Trump increasing their property tax, right? Even the same people, property owners and so on. But let's go ahead and begin.
It's been only 49 days since Mayor Montgomery took office, howled by the promise of making the nation's largest city more affordable. But now he's floating this idea of raising property taxes for all. And New Yorkers never shy to share their opinions. I want to report a separate gift with their message to the mayor.
This people found the most it's living Canada's American dream come true. It's started and it's become this forever. He bought his touchdown to graduate college in the 1990s, set aside, even as his back to Steve Easton, a retired real estate professional who's on a fixed income. He's supporting over $45,000 on fortune and a new. But now with Mayor Maldani proposing a property tax increase, he feels duped.
You feel like that? You want to see it? You like it? Let's see it.
Oh, the socialist lied to you. He lied to you. Oh, surprised, shocked, shook. Oh, I would feel bad. I would feel bad. I don't feel bad. try to warn you. The rest of the country say, try to warn you. These people are swindlers. They're staying. The whole affordability thing from these socialists, the free stuff, it's a Trojan horse. For one, it just means you're going to be paying more taxes, right? They also want Europe. They tell you what they tell you what gold is. Gold is like Europe, right? This is what they tell you. But at the actual right? This is not the numbers, right? Understand that not only like work is the highest, homes is low, gas prices are higher, utilities are higher. You make less money, wages are lower, right? You got a better standard of living in the United States of America than you do in Europe. But see, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. They got free stuff, right? They got free public transit, right? Free healthcare, right? They got free stuff, but the free stuff ain't free. It's not free. It's major redistribution from middle and upper middle class, right? That's what most of the money does. They redistribute wealth to those, don't want to work as much, right? So yeah, the people at the bottom of Europe might feel better, right? Because they don't want to work that much, and they're getting a bunch of free stuff because they don't want to work. Yeah, for them it might be great, but if you work, okay, if you provide, if you contribute or do, you're not doing better in these social countries. You're not doing better in the United States of America. But these people got to find out the hard way. The socialists tell you what they want. And people are shocked that that's what they're doing, right? And they're trying to make New York City like budget, right? That's exactly what's going on too. That's why Campbell was among the dozens of homeowners who stopped his Queens and turned down what they said was an emergency response to the mayor. The mayor, right? And he can't say speech. And he can't
Have a man down! Give up!
now, did they expect to open
It's over!
The mayor says he has two options. Convince Governor Hochul to tax the wealthy, which he refuses to do, or raise the city property tax rate by 9.5%.
Faced with no other choice, the city would have to exercise the only revenue lever fully within the law. We would have to raise property taxes.
So the city council would have to approve the measure, and Council Speaker Julie Leonard says the proposal is not beyond the table whatsoever. Meanwhile, Hochul, for her part, is unlikely to soften her position as she faces re-election this year.
You're giving only 2 options. You're saying if we don't tax the rich, then I gotta increase property tax. We are not a part of that. We are not part of your negotiation taxes.
In Queens, yes, you are. Stefan Bennett, Channel 7. Eyewitness, yes, you are. You are part of their negotiation tactics. You have always been a calm for social, right? This is why what they have always been calm for social. They see you as a giant thing that, right? They see all the money that they can take from and to give to the people who don't even want them. You're the same person. That's what is already seen. And then you're one to stop this leverage money, right? Get your money together. They want to quote-unquote tax the rich, pay for the social, for people who don't work. That's the word. That's how they work. And even if he doesn't quote-unquote tax the rich, it's still not going to work for the rich. And when they reach, there's less tax revenue. When there's less tax revenue, guess what? They're going to tax the rich. That's exactly what happened in Chicago. History repeats itself. People that say, so now, Black residents in the street protested about property tax increases. Why? Because of Oakdale, Brandon County, Salisbury. So it is actually business that grows business and rich folks out of and that led to less tax revenue. Therefore, they wanted to see the money. They put free stuff, they had to go to black.
Homeowners in Montreal is together tonight about the property tax hikes. One man says he received a bill this week over $977 more than what he paid last year.
There's no doubt that's an excuse for the most part, but it seems like now that people have found an interest in reclaiming the labor, now it's like they're being taxed. Watch this. Yes, today our property tax bills came in, and folks are seeing the average increase in those bills like 100%.
Yeah, you are being taxed on your prosperity, right? That's a core tenet of socialism, communism, right? Of what, right? From equal towards usability, equal towards unique, which means that, hey, if you produce more, then you gotta distribute more, right? You gotta eat, right? Or the government has to pay for it, whatever, right? The government is entitled to more. This is what it is, okay? And then go for then, hey, and right? The scheme is a very it's not necessarily based on what you earn, right? But what you okay? So, if this is the lesson, the hard lesson to people, right? That accurate all being actual lesson. That's what it means. It doesn't mean anything else outside of that. And that's what people in politics and service have been trying to tell you folks time and time again. These people are things, right? And I believe that when it comes to anything, you can't believe them. But hey, this kind of publication is what leads people to vote and stuff like this. Because that's what they just got offered in this way. Publication and so forth. And unfortunately, you got some people who eat it up. They eat it up their vote. And then once they get it, once anybody voted for it, they're all of a sudden they got to do it. Oh, they do it, right? No, you weren't trained. No, you weren't trained. Right? Your hatred of Trump is what blinds you to the reality of socialism. The things that these people say always sound good, but look at the track record. Oh yeah, look at Seattle, look at San Francisco, look at all the places that this stuff has been tried. Look at the result. It's always a disaster. Every single time. Every time. But they gotta learn the hard way. So in the meantime, while New York is the one part about the property taxes going up, right? Go to socialism. You got Republicans down in Florida, right? What do? They're actually trying to decrease, to get rid of property taxes.
Yeah, he's talking property taxes now. If you can't get some other tax increase from the governor, what do you do with property taxes? You're going to phase them out completely?
Well, first of all, didn't we run out of affordability? How is it more affordable to raise property taxes on working class people? I just don't understand that. So what we're working through, we got to work with the Florida legislature in make sure that for Florida residents and their primary, what we call a homesteaded property, and the way it works in Florida is that's about a third of all the property tax revenue because these local governments are taxing investment properties, snowbirds, second, third homes, businesses, all those other things. And so the context of this is in 2019, local governments in Florida provided $32 billion in property tax revenue. Now they're bringing in $60 billion. So if you go back to that 2019 level of spending, you give them population growth, you give them the inflation, even add a couple percent a year on top of that, you're not even close to 60 billion. So they're obviously getting a lot of this because property values have gone up. A lot of people moved to Florida, particularly during the COVID era, but people need relief. And what's happening, Joe, is you've got older people that have been in their homes for a long time. They've had protection against that.
Yeah, tired of all this. Folks, y'all.
Listen, behold, the only thing greater than yourself.
Play me some music. Play me some.
That's the difference, folks. That is the difference between voting
This
Democrat
ain't
and voting
happening.
Republican, especially.
Yeah, tired of all this. Same folks, y'all. You told me? And I'll rip your black hide if you don't do what I say.
Especially at the local and state level, they're not the same, right? There's big difference. And you're seeing in Florida, they're trying to get rid of property taxes, right? They're saying, hey, some of these local governments are getting too fat. They're getting too much money, okay? And this is
It's bin time. It's bin time.
Decrease your right? We're going to give you relief for homeowners who are working folks, right? Meanwhile, New York, run by Democrats, they're trying to increase your taxes. There's a huge difference. Huge difference. So I'm just saying, people one day are gonna wake up. They're gonna look, and I hope that black folks wake up one day.
That's just it. Hope, when hope comes, you don't hope no more. You too caught up in the semantics of the words. Make believe, understand, faith, and hope. Them words got people too fucking fucked up to the point where they can't see the truth. Never. Sorry. If you live your life with them 5 fucked up words, you'll never realize that those 5 fucked up words are words that's holding you back from realizing the truth that's already ready within you. Just ready for you to tap back in. Facts. Common law. Common sense. It is what it is. The truth makes sense. But true change. Because once you go back to using common sense, shit will change. Because right now, common sense is just not common.
Listen, behold, the only thing greater than yourself. Play me some music. Play me a song. I want you to hear. Tired of all the same folks don't. They got no remembering of the old ways to help them, to tell them who they are. You told it, and it's love. And I'll hurt your black hide if you don't do what I say.
Your name is Toby. I want to hear you say it. Your name is Toby. You're going.
Listen, behold, the only thing greater than yourself. Play me some music. Play me a song. I want you to hear. Tired of all the same folks don't. You told it, and it's love. And I'll hurt your black hide if you don't do what I say.
Your name is Toby. I want to hear you say it. Your name is Toby. You're going to learn to say your name. Let me hear you say it. What's your name? Hear you say it. Your name is Toby. You're going to learn to say your name. Let me hear you say it. What's your name?
They got no remembering of the old ways to help them, to tell them who they are. Listen, behold, the only thing greater than yourself.
Your name is Toby. You're going to learn to say your name. Let me hear you say it. What's your name?
They got no remembering of the old ways to help them, to tell them who they are.
DJ Kente, Thunder it is. Let's make it last. Let's make it last forever and ever. Don't let us love
Let me hear you tell me you love me. Let me hear you say you never leave me. Oh, girl, that's what makes me feel so right. Let me hear you tell me you want me. Let me hear you say you're next on me. Until the morning light.
Insane.
Some of the most.
So the real reason to keep promoting these interracial relationships is so they can use the baby to tap into these public trusts and steal your land pack. They've been doing this for a very long time. That's why they try to force us into inner cities while they get to enjoy the majority of the land out there that is ours. They use us for interracial relationships and then use the baby with your last name to claim your family's inheritance. Yes, there are land packs that are held in public trust that you need to claim. So the real reason to keep promoting.
This is why people say Chinese agriculture is decades ahead of ours. While we're still planting trees, cutting them down, and making furniture the traditional way, China has discovered how to grow a tree directly into a chair. The most impressive example is the crepe myrtle chair. It's not carved by a carpenter, it's made from a living crepe myrtle tree. From the seedling, growers act like artists, guiding each branch's growth. Using wire, bamboo poles, and molds, they shape the branches into a chair. Armrests, backrests, and legs form naturally as the tree grows. Over time, the branches twist, intertwine, and fuse together, all done by the tree itself. Years later, when the molds are removed, a one-of-a-kind chair emerges, made of living, connected roots. Each crepe myrtle chair is unique, with flowing lines and bark textures that were hand-carved. It's not just a chair, it's functional art, blending comfort and beauty, a true symbol of innovation in Chinese agriculture.
Yeah. Might just throw me a whole house for this thing.
This is why people say Chinese agriculture is...
This video should creep you out. She's part of an experiment, but doesn't know it. And these people are in on it. And every time they hear a beeping noise, they stand up. And it takes about 3 times before she gives in, and she stands for no reason. Now this is where it gets even crazier. One by one, each people who are part of it leaves the room. And now she's in there alone. And look, the beeping noise goes off and she stands. And mind you, she's the only one in there. And look, someone new walks in that's not a part of it. And she also wasn't a participant.
Psychological programming. They teach you to be a liar to the point where you don't know you're the liar.
Look, she hears the beep and stands up, and the guy asks, "Why are you standing?" And she said everyone was doing it, so she thought she was supposed to. And he doesn't know what's going on, but look at what he does. He stands. And as more and more people start to come in as well, they all start standing. And you have to remember, this all started from a rule that made no sense. See, this experiment shows exactly why you should think for yourself. And this is how BS spreads. One person does it, and everyone copies without asking any type of question. And after a certain amount of time, it becomes a new normal. This video should creep you out. She's part of an experiment, but creep you out. She's part of an experiment, but doesn't know it. And these people are in on it. And every time they hear a beeping noise, they stand up. And it takes about 3 times before she gives in, and she stands for no reason.